Hi there, my name is James Burnham. I am with the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources. I am the Hunting and Angling Recruitment, Retention, and Reactivation Coordinator, and we are going to skin, quarter, and stake out some of this deer. Congratulations, you've got your deer, you've gutted it out, and now what do you do with it? Well, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to peel back some of this hide. To start, I am going to get a couple of knives. Most of what I am going to use can be done with this hunting knife. It is about 3.5 inches. It has a nice full belly to help with that skinning aspect. It's got a good point on it if I need to get some detail work in. The best thing that I like about this knife is that it's got a lot of good texture on the edges so that I've got a good secure grip on it. It's got some cutouts so that I can keep a steady hold on it as I'm working, as this thing gets wet. So I'm going to use this for the vast majority of what I'm doing. I could do everything with this one knife. We're going to get started. I'm going to have Kelsey come in and help me, and we'll get this thing skinned out. We have the body cavity where we opened it up to gut it out, and that gives you a starting point, and you can just pull back, and I'm cutting against the interior of the skin just like we did when we were gutting it, and I'm just kind of working it down. Now, I don't even need a knife to do this. I can just kind of reach in here and push with my fist to separate that skin from the muscle. So now you don't have to be gentle here. You're not going to be tearing anything that you need to be afraid of tearing. I can still come in here where the skin is still tight. And you see, I'm just inserting the knife and pulling it up. And then as I twist that blade, it just pops open. Now I'm grabbing a fistful of hide and pulling it tight and just kind of tracing where that connection of the tissue is. I'm going to put that to one side and just kind of pull this apart. And this is all fat and brisket. And you can see, I know when I've done a good job because you can see the inside of that skin show up underneath that superficial muscle. Because once that superficial muscle is broken, that's really where you can come in here and separate it. We've got her nice, she's really loose, almost back to the spine. I'm gonna keep coming down here and separating her out. Now, the leg joints, you need to be a little cautious. You can see here, these are tufts of hair that look like they're kind of going against the direction of the rest of the hair. They kind of stick out, they're a knob. You can see it's a lighter patch with a darker patch in the middle. This is the tarsal gland. This is a very potent scent gland. This is what they use for marking a lot of territory. They'll urinate over their legs and run it over that gland to pick up a lot of variety of scent. You don't want to cut through that because if you run your knife through that gland, you risk putting some of that scent elsewhere on the meat, and that's something you want to avoid. So as I'm cutting down this leg, I'm staying on the front side of the leg to avoid that gland. And you can see they have it on the other side too. On does, it's not as big of a deal because that gland is not as important for does as it is for males, but on real big males that have been in the rut and they've been really active, this will be rank. It'll be potent. You'll know that it's there. So just avoid it with your knife. Run your blade down the shin of the animal to get down to this hock. Okay. And again, I get it started, and then I just come in here with my fingers and I force it loose. All right, so that's basically one leg clear. I'm gonna come up in here and there's that one. Kelsey, if you can hold that. All right. So you can see here I've already got a little bit of hole in the hide. I'm just going to use that to go ahead and come in here and split down this foreleg. And again, I'm always cutting from the inside out. I don't want to be driving hair down into that meat, and I don't want to dull my knife blade with hair, which it will do fairly quickly. So I'm just kind of coming down. I'm working all the way down to that last little joint before the hoof. And if you can't get it started, just couple of little quick tracings of your knife blade, and then you can get your fingers in there and separate it out. And I'm not too worried about the rest of this, because I'm going to come in here, and when I take this shoulder off, I'm going to come right across here
where the radius and the ulna meet, the carpals,
and separate those out, and this whole thing is just going to go. So you can see it's a little messy in here. This is all damage from the bullet coming through. This is congealed blood. It doesn't do anything to the meat. And part of the issue with this one is this deer has a lot of fat on it. So this white stuff, that's just solid fat, she ate pretty well. Yeah, let's get the other side. All right, we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to start up here on this foreleg. And just kind of take your time. Again, you know you're doing okay if you've got that clean white underside of the skin going. Don't worry about those muscles. They're all wrapped up in their own little connective tissue, so they'll be okay. It's going to be a great year to learn how to do this stuff on your own. A lot of the processors, the meat processors around the state, are already behind on orders from domestic animals. So if you have a knife and a little bit of time, doing this stuff on your own this year is probably a smart move, because otherwise you may not be getting venison until March.
If they take your carcass at all. And so many meat processors are not taking any venison this year because they're, backed up with those domestic meats. So
great time to learn.
Yep.
So we've got this thing pretty much done. I can come down here and work out a little bit on this leg. Same sort of thing. I avoided that tarsal gland. I don't want that on my knife. I don't want that in my meat. All right, that leg's clear. Now you see, as that came up, there's a little bit of muscle that came with it. Not the end of the world. Just take your knife, give it a little encouragement to separate out, and it goes right back to where you want it. Losing that amount of muscle is not going to be the end of the world. Now it's usually a good idea, depending on the weather, during gun season in Minnesota, it's frequently not the end of the world if you wait a couple days, because it's usually pretty cold. But if you're on a day like today, where it's in the 80s, or you're early season archery hunting, you want to get those guts out real quick. You want to get the skin off real quick, because that's an insulating layer of fat and fur. You want to get this meat exposed and breathe and cooling down as quickly as possible. So if you're early season archery hunting, if I was bow hunting and I bow hunted this doe, you know, I've got 3 bags of 20 pounds of ice that I would pack this carcass with before taking it home, just to cool it down as quickly as I can.